Hi, and welcome to my garden, my patio garden, my garden patio. Hey, I'm the Angry Gardener. This is my first episode of the second year of Watch My Garden Grow. It's February. Hey, stick around. At the end of this episode, I will share my top tips and suggestions for gardening in February, and some things that you should be at the top of your list as we start counting down the days to warmer weather and spring. So this year, my goal is to once a month give you an update, a walk through my garden, if you will, on my current projects and the progress in my garden as I lead up to Labor Day weekend, where I am currently planning the second annual Hawaiian barbecue in the Angry Gardener's backyard. So if you're lucky, maybe you'll get an invite as well. So let's take a walk through my garden, and don't forget, stick around at the end for some good tips on February gardening. All right, let's go. While we're on the patio, oh my gosh, February. I have finally come out of hibernation. We had such a mild winter, and then January, then all of a sudden we didn't. Not a lot happening. Oh, look, the clematis, it is showing some life. Check that out. Check that out. It really did some growing last year. You'll notice as we walk through, I have not cleaned up my yard from last winter. Pollinators, little garden creatures and whatnot. They need sources of food and places to live and hang out. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm lazy or haven't made it out here. Curious what will go to seed and what will land where, and what kind of surprises we'll have growing this year. And check out our new garden helper. Everyone say hello to Ginger. Ginger is 5 months old tomorrow. She's a Great Dane. That'd be called a brindle color. She loves to dig. She's got big diggers. She loves to dig and loves to cuddle even that much more. So let's just check some things out. You'll notice there's some new yard garden art. Hey, check this out. I did not realize, I can't remember what this is. I did not realize it would come back year after year, even after that hard frost. The chives are growing. Oh, my clearance purchase at the end of the year. They're not dead. Where are they going to go? I have no idea. And check out this pile of wood. If you recall, last spring, we had another project on the patio. This year's project, though, isn't really on the patio, though all of its tools and materials are on the patio. This is going to be my new shed. So, yeah, that's going to happen. We have some volunteer elephant ear garlic coming up. We won't deter it, but that's not the goal there. We've got some crocuses starting to come up here, some daffodils, whatnot. Here, let's go this way. Some projects here. This azalea is going to get moved. That's going to get composted. I have to be careful. Ginger likes to leave piles out here. We get to play that game this year. Is it a molehill or a pile of dog poo? Look at this awesome piece of driftwood my wife found. She's named it Hector, and now it hangs in the crabapple tree. I think it looks pretty cool. And that's going to have a wisteria growing up around it. This nasty corner of the yard, you'll recall, and if you don't recall, go ahead and check some of those previous episodes of season 1. This had an old metal shed. that I've removed, I was happy to find that the old shed has this really nice cement square foundation. I've pulled up the floor. I'm going to bring in some soil and I'm going to turn that into a shade garden, while the new shed is going to go right in kind of this area here. So here in 3 to 4 weeks, when we do another walkthrough, you'll get to see a new shed hanging out there. And remember what this looks like. In the months to follow, before it gets too warm, the dahlia garden is doubling in size. It's gonna look amazing. I had high hopes for the musa this winter. With our mild winter, it actually continued to grow right up until all of a sudden it was 15 degrees outside. Oh, look, we've got some tulips, daffodils coming through. I need to pull this tarp back so that we can, some others can grow. That's just protecting my canna lilies from getting too wet. I left my Bergmansia, my angel's trumpet, I left a few of them out. Well, of course I left them out. I planted them in the ground. But I've done a variety of mulching and covering them to see if any option will work so that they will return this season. But I do have plans there. The lupin, that is coming back this year. My impressive cardoon, well, let's say it was impressive last year. It has some baby ones coming up though, so we can have more impressive things this year. Oh, this jasmine is starting to show some life. We had I guess they call it false spring. We had a false spring here recently. So a lot of things are coming up. Oh, look at that. That crocus is blooming right there in the center. Ginger's trying to figure out what she can dig up next. My rose bushes, kind of all sorts of levels of winterization, we'll call it. Yes, let's call it winterization. Those will be cleaned up in the coming weeks and pruned and made ready. The rhubarb is starting to grow. Oh, I can't wait for fresh rhubarb to make a rhubarb pie. Still too early to see any signs of asparagus. This is my new asparagus patch that I planted last year. And yeah, it's got some stuff that needs to be cleaned up. This guy, this great big butterfly bush, he'll get trimmed up. Isn't it sad? Isn't my yard sad? But hey, it's February. Can't have it growing. Plenty of other things to be doing. Oh, let's check out inside the greenhouse and see what's going on. Now, forgive the noise. There's a heater running because it's a little chilly. Alrighty. Wow. Here is the greenhouse. What do we got going on in here? So, go ahead and keep an eye out. I will have a propagation video out soon on propagating fuchsias. Check out my elephant ears. So when I dug up my elephant ears last fall, there were a couple small nodes that I just didn't feel like real comfortable that those were going to winter over really well because they were so small. So I put them in soil so they could grow over winter. So they're going to have a head start when they move into the garden. These succulents are not cold hardy. So when that big freeze was forecasted, I moved those into the greenhouse. And then I have a variety of Brugmansia. Might need to check and treat these. I propagated my Brugmansia. I have a variety of, these guys need watered. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? A few of them not so well. Oh, That's not a good sign. I will be treating this. Be treating this a little bit later today. But this is my Brugmansia. I will be posting on Facebook Marketplace likely a little bit later this spring. Once these, I'm confident they're all doing well and super healthy, I will be selling them. So keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace if you're in the area. And swing by and purchase one or many. You know, it'll be at a reasonable price. Everything I propagated grew. Some are growing better than others, but it's time to start really watering and keeping an eye on them. Now, I also propagated or dug up, separated 2 Musa. This one is actually showing some growth. This one hasn't done much at all, but it's not dead. So we'll see how that's going because I want to expand that. Then I acquired 3 Bird of Paradise. And this is a new leaf that just opened in the last couple weeks. This one still has a leaf. This one is showing no signs yet of anything, but it's not dead. You know, well, we'll see. As it warms up, we'll check it out. The mother plant for one of my Brugmansia, my first 2 initial ones, they're back there. And then we've got my tropical hibiscus. And then this citrus plant is a Calamandan citrus. And this also I acquired. I pruned it back, and this has already got, this is all new growth this year. Ginger, what we doing back there? Are you helping? Is everything okay back there? So curious to see how this all pans out. So this is the greenhouse. Ginger, come. We got some pests that we need to deal with in here, and I will do so. Oh, check out the geraniums, pelargoniums. They're doing nicely. Those were propagated just as a precaution in case my overwintering in the garage didn't pan out. I had some to grow. So as I try to shut my door, we'll see what Ginger, oh look, she's eating more stuff. She loves mulch, especially the nice woody stuff. All right, well, there you have it. That's my brief little tour of, oh, check that out. The wind must have blew that off. So we'll put that back on. So check that out. And don't go away. Let me give you my top suggestions for February gardening. All right, and here are my top suggestions for February gardening. It's February. I'm in Zone 8B here in the Pacific Northwest, and this is what's on the top of my list to do this February. First and foremost, some planning. Do I have all of my new plants ordered? Have I selected my seeds? Have I figured out what I'm going to do in my garden this year? Let's do some planning. That you can do while it's warm. You can be in front of a fire, cuddled up with the new puppy. However, as you're figuring that out. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to get out all my begonia tubers and my bare root geraniums that I've overwintered in the garage, and I'm going to get them into soil. I'm not putting them outside. It's too cold yet for that, but I'm going to get them into soil. I'm either going to find a nice area out of the way in the house or in the greenhouse so that they can start to grow, so that when the weather is nice, I can get them hardened off and onto the patio for some instant green. So I'm thinking about 2 months. 2 months. Then, as President's Day is approaching, you need to figure out what your weather forecast is like. But President's Day is a great guide to get your roses pruned. And I will have a rose pruning video out soon on the proper ways to prune your roses. So that'll be a good time for that. Also, if you're in an area similar to mine where the weather is nice, as you saw, walking through my yard, I've got crocuses coming up. My daffodils are starting to poke through. My tulips are starting to poke through. If you have any areas where you heavily mulched last winter to protect another plant, you're going to want to pull some of that mulch back to give them an opportunity, your spring bulbs to start to grow. And then that, I think, is going to be the top of my list of things to do in February. And that would be my public list, if you will, the list I'm sharing that everyone could probably utilize those tips. I myself, I've got a lot of work to do yet to get my new dahlia garden set, my shed put together, and then come March, I can start thinking about cleaning things up and really getting things going. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you stuck around till the end. And as a reminder, I'm going to do these about once a month, unless some big things happen in my yard. You can expect to get a walk through my garden once a month. So I'll visit with you folks again in March. But until then, keep an eye out for that propagating fuchsias, as well as some of the other things that I'm going to get into. And you know what? We'll find an opportunity to keep Ginger involved as well. So if you like Great Danes or puppies in general, for no other reason, keep checking back. All right, you have a great day, great rest of your February. Happy Valentine's Day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.